Introducing God's Plan. Chapter 1. Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. A long time ago there was God. He was all alone, and there was nothing else besides him. There were no stars, no sun, and no moon. There was no heaven and no earth. So God made these things for himself. First he made the heavens and the earth. And he also made many angels to live in heaven. After a while, one of these angels became jealous of God and of all that God could do. In fact, he wanted to be God himself, and because of this, he was always trying to spoil the good things which God had done. And this angel's name was Satan. Then God made light, which he separated from the darkness, and that was the first day. On the second day, God separated the water, so that some was above the sky and some was below it. On the third day, God gathered the waters on the earth together and called it the sea. The earth that appeared became dry ground, which he called land. He also made the land produce plants of all sorts, trees and bushes, flowers and shrubs. He made every kind that produces seeds and nuts, fruits and vegetables. On the fourth day, God put lights in the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the fifth day, God made all the fish and other creatures that live in the water, and he also made all the birds which fly above the earth. On the sixth day, God made all the animals which live on the land, and he saw that everything he made was good. And then God made man in his own image. He said that man should rule over all the living things he had created, the fish and the birds and the animals. He also said that all the plants he had made were there to be food for the man and all the living creatures. God said that everything he had made was very good, and that was the end of the sixth day. By the seventh day, God had finished all his work, and the world was complete. The man whom God had made was called Adam. God created Adam as a perfect man, and so at the beginning, Adam never did anything wrong. However, God also gave Adam the ability to choose what he would do. As long as Adam chose to obey God, he would remain perfect and never die. God had made a garden in Eden as part of his creation, and it was in this garden that God placed Adam. In the middle of the garden there were two special trees. One was the tree of life, and one was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God put Adam in the Garden of Eden to take care of it, and he told Adam that he could eat the fruit from any of the trees in the garden except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If he ate from that tree, God told him he would die. Then God brought to Adam all the animals and birds which he had created to see what names that Adam would give them. But none of these was suitable to help Adam, and God said it was not good for Adam to remain alone. And so God made a woman and brought her to Adam to help him and to become his wife. Adam named his wife Eve because she was to become the mother of everyone who would ever live on earth. And so Adam and Eve were very happy together in the Garden of Eden. Adam told Eve everything God had said to him, and so she knew that she must not eat from the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. However, one day Satan, the wicked angel who was jealous of God, came to Eve in the garden. He told her to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But Eve refused at first. She remembered what God had said and she wanted to obey him. She told Satan that God had said she would die if she ate the fruit. Satan called God a liar. He told Eve she would not die if she ate the fruit. Instead, she would become like God, knowing good and evil. And so Eve looked at the fruit and she saw that it looked good to eat. And she took some and she ate it. And she gave some of the fruit to Adam and he ate it as well. And when Adam and Eve had eaten the fruit, they heard God walking in the garden and they were afraid. Adam and Eve knew that they had done wrong. They tried to hide from God, but when God called out to Adam and asked where he was, they could hide no longer. God looked at them and asked Adam if they'd eaten the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam told God that Eve had given him some of the fruit to eat. So God turned to Eve and asked her why she had disobeyed him. Eve told God that Satan had persuaded her to eat the fruit because he had said that she would not die if she ate it. And then God was very angry with Satan because of what he had done and the lies he had told Eve. God told Satan that one day he would also die. Everything was no longer perfect, including Adam and Eve. They had disobeyed God, and slowly their bodies began to wear out. Now they were going to grow old and die. The ground was also changed, and God told Adam that now he would have to work hard to grow food to eat. Adam would have to dig the ground and weed it and make it ready for the plants. Before, when everything had been perfect, the plants had grown without any work. God then sent Adam and Eve out of the garden, and he set up a guard to make sure they would never be able to get back in again. This was because God did not want Adam and Eve to eat the fruit of the tree of life. If they did this, they would live forever as disobedient people. But Adam and Eve were to die, as God had said. They were no longer happy all the time, and sometimes they thought of how lovely everything had been in the garden. They were very sad and very sorry for what they had done and how it had spoiled everything around them.